like it's kind of the TV.
Maybe.
Is that, do you notice it too?
So correct.
Kind of. Okay. We are ready and it is recording.
Okay. Well, the meeting is called to order at 5:31 p.m. Debbie, if you don't mind doing roll call, please.
We have Vice Chair Englewood,
Present.
Jenna Biondolillo.
Present.
Mark Husbands is not present. Karen Miller.
Present.
Cody Phelps.
Present.
We have our new City Council Liaison, Tena Prange.
Present.
And our new Englewood School Liaison, Duane Tucker.
Present.
Chair Christine Adams has resigned. Her schedule just did not accommodate her serving on the board any longer. And staff, we have Director Christina Underhill, Allison Boyd, Recreation Manager, and Adrian Torres, Open Space Manager.
Are there any additions or corrections to the minutes of November 9th? If there are no corrections, is there a motion to accept the minutes of November 9th as written?
I move to accept the minutes as written.
Second.
All those in favor of accepting the minutes, please say yay.
Yay.
All opposed, please say nay. Okay, motion carried.
Great, thank you.
Okay, first order of business, should we do some introductions of our new liaisons? Tina, if you want to go first and just kind of give an introduction to the board, maybe a little bit about yourself?
Sure. I'm Tena Prange, newly elected to City Council, a 4-year at-large position or seat. Served on the school board with Duane for quite some time in the way past. Took a handful of years off to just kind of be with my kids and be a mom for a while. So now I'm back engaged in the city and looking forward to learning more about this group and how I can best serve as a liaison to council and hearing more from you on what you would like to see out of my role as far as the information taken back. I noticed that you hadn't had a representative from council. Has it been a while since you've
Jim
had
Woodward.
Jim was on it. Oh, okay.
Yes.
Yeah, I didn't see his name listed when we got the, okay, great. So yeah, any feedback that you have for me as far as how I can best serve this group to relay information back and forth, I welcome that. Thank you for the welcome.
Duane, you might be new to me, but maybe not others here.
I know a good chunk of the room, but yeah,
Okay.
I'm Duane Tucker. I'm on the Englewood School Board. I'm in the middle of halfway through my second go around on the board. So I've been back on for the last couple of years. As Tina said, I was on the board prior, and I think from 2011 to 2013 is when I first met you, Debbie. I was actually the board liaison to this committee many years ago. So, I'm happy to be here. I'll echo everything Tina said about the liaison back and forth between this board and the school board, and just glad to be here tonight. So thanks for having me.
Do you have any public comment?
No, but I was going to say if staff wants, or not.
I think we
staff,
should all
but
introduce
board members,
ourselves.
Yeah,
Okay,
That would be
let's do it.
helpful.
because that'll, yeah.
Okay. Well, I can go first. I'm Emma Wood. I'm newly elected vice chair. I've been part of the board and commission team here since July. So very new, still kind of learning what's going on, but I'm a new mom. I'm 8-month-old, and being more involved in Englewood was a big passion of mine and priority. So it's been an amazing short term and time here, part of the team.
Yeah, I'm Jenna, and I am relatively new to Englewood. Moved here, we bought our house about a year and a half ago, but we're up in the area down in Centennial. Let's see, I'm a landscape architect. Was also just joined the board in July, so fairly new, but yeah, enjoying it so far.
Cody Phelps. I've been on the commission for 2 years now, so I'm halfway through my appointment. I've lived in Englewood for 4 years now, and then been in Colorado for 7 years.
I'm Karen Miller. I got on Parks and Rec by being the school board liaison back in 2003. And am here, but this is my final meeting, so,
Oh, I didn't know that.
yes.
We've heard words like that from you.
Yeah, right.
Look at that, Penny.
We'll be back. You need to.
And in full transparency, Karen is also the mover and shaker of the Englewood Educators Foundation, which does a lot of things for the kids in the school district too. So
Karen's
let's
amazing.
not forget about that. You're a legend. So there you go.
My name's Allison Boyd. I'm the recreation manager. So I oversee the recreation centers, as well as the city events are under my department and division. Yes. And also the farm and train operations, field rentals, open space programs, things like that. So I've been here a little over 9 years.
I'm Christine Underhill. I'm the director for Parks, Rec, Library, and Golf. And this will be my 4th year here this month. So, but I've been in the industry, Parks and Rec industry, since I was 15. So,
Wow.
I'm a tenure. It's all right. Yeah, but we're glad to have Duane, Tena on the board.
I'm Adrian Torres. I'm the open space manager. I've been with the city for 23 years. So I'm in charge of the parks department. I know where all the bodies are hidden.
I'm Debbie Severa, and I know Duane and Tena from years back. I have been with the city over 30 years. So, but I'm an Englewood resident and love Englewood.
Your grandpa was the mayor.
Oh, I didn't know. Oh my gosh.
Yeah,
She's like royalty.
we go.
Oh my gosh, you have legends and royalty.
Yeah.
You guys are in the right place.
Yeah, we'll go. My family goes way back. Yeah.
Okay. We can skip over public comment and then go straight to election of the chair.
Yeah.
Yep.
If I
Yeah,
can
go
make
for it.
a comment, election of officers would be in March. So I don't know if we go ahead and just go ahead and do chair and vice chair at this time, and then we don't have to do it again in March. If everybody is okay with that, or I don't,
I mean, we can readdress it in March if we need to
Yeah.
and re-elect if so be, but with Christine resigning, we do not have a chair. So that would be the goal tonight, is to fill that position and backfill vice chair if it ends up changing.
Is this where I nominate Karen for something?
Yes.
Keep her around.
She becomes chair, she has to stop.
That's the loophole. Sorry.
So do we have any nominations for chair?
I'd nominate Emma to just move up to chair.
Thank you. I mean, for our conversation via email, I would love to learn more about the chair
Yeah.
position, just to make sure that I understand all the roles and expectations.
so it's very much as vice chair. Mainly it is running a meeting. The chair, before we send out the packet, I do send the draft agenda to the chair for approval. And, leading up to that meeting, if commission members have any items they want to add to the agenda, that normally they would reach out to the chair and myself and that, but it's just to make sure that if you have any additional items, or if you've had, somebody bring up an item to you or that, or you say, I approve the agenda, then I can publish it at that point.
You may have to speak at ribbon cuttings.
At what?
At ribbon cuttings, like we'll have a new playground come this fall, and you may have to say a few words there if you have for it.
Okay, well, I accept. And in return, I'd like to nominate Jenna for vice chair.
Well, you have to get a motion, and
Oh, okay.
and then we can move to the next step.
Do I lead the motion for that then?
Well, since you have been nominated, let's, so we have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
Okay. And a vote, all in favor? Say aye.
Aye.
Any opposition, say nay. No? Okay, so we have Emma as chair. Congratulations. You won. Yeah. So then if you want to open the floor for vice chair.
Okay. Well, I would like to nominate Jenna as vice chair. Motion to nominate her.
I'll second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
And those opposed, say nay. Jenna, vice chair. Congratulations.
Congratulations.
I'll have to ask you what I need to do.
Yeah, we make it touch
And Jen, I did kind of do some some information for Emma when she became vice chair on running a meeting and motions and all that. I will forward it to you.
Okay, that would be
to
great.
Kind of familiarize yourself. So you do get to run the meeting again, or continuously.
Okay. Get all the cobwebs dusted
Yeah.
off in the new year. All right, well, Christina, we'll hand it over to you for bond project update.
All right, sounds good. So I'm gonna run through this. Now, just to give an update, we were gonna go after a bond in 2023, but we found out we were only able to go after a bond during a special election, which will be this year in 2024 as part of the presidential election. It can be the only ballot question for the city, to my understanding, on the ballot. So I'll go through this fairly quickly. We're still tweaking some things. We've added some projects since last year and actually reduced the price some. So we'll go through these and ask questions as we go along. So our current recreation bond that started in the early 2000s that helped to build Pirates Cove, and is that part of Malley too?
Yes.
It sunsetted in December of 2023, so this last December. We have, for 2024, the project cost for all the projects we have listed is between 40 and 50 million. I'll break that down for you. We're looking at renovating 12 parks, as well as a rec center and Pirates Cove. So this is something council will eventually see as we tweak this. We're probably gonna take it to council in February to make sure there's still an appetite, knowing that this can be the only question on the ballot for the city, and see if the appetite's still there for the projects we will be presenting. And so it may get narrowed down depending on council's appetite for what they actually wanna present to the community for the bond levy. So some of the benefits for what we're presenting is looking at sustainability, reducing turf, improving our water management through irrigation upgrades in all our parks. Many of our systems are 30+ years old and just failing, and our park staff spend many hours, if not weeks, throughout the summer just keeping those up and running and not leaking and losing water. As far as efficiency, when you look at reducing turf, less mowing, less equipment is needed, and so less maintenance on the irrigation systems. Newer things mean deferred maintenance over time too. ADA improvements, so access for all. We are putting in Bates Logan, which Adrian's going to cover that playground. It's an inclusive playground, but we're looking at putting pathways on many of the parks that don't have pathways to give access, play equipment that anybody can play on, things like that. And then revenue generation is a big one. We are somewhat cost recovery in our departments. We bring in revenue from the general fund, and so doing upgrades to the farm and train, adding more pavilions in our system that can be rented out, as well as making both the rec center and Pirates Cove attractive and new feeling, even though Pirates Cove is 20 years old and the rec center is 30 years old, or 38. And then also activation of areas that are less used. Miller Field's a great example of that. It's only used really for sports and dogs that are off leash we find often over there. And so we'll show you some pictures of what Miller Field can look like with this potential bond. And then also we hear a lot about, there's not a lot for teens. Teens are a hard one to program for, but adding more amenities into our parks and our facilities to make it exciting for teens to want to come and want to visit with their friends and family. So this is a map of the city. It's a little hard to see at this scale, but the red is the bond project. So if you look at the red squares, it's spread out through the whole city. Every district, every area is going to be covered with the bond. And the blue circles are projects that we've done between 2020 and 2023. So just about every aspect of our Parks and Rec system will be addressed through the bond. This is just a list of all the parks that are going to be addressed, and we'll go through each one quickly, as well as the recreation facilities projects. I'll go through each of these too. So I have pictures to show, so we'll explain as we go on the fun part. We gotta get to the fun part. So Bard Park is by Charles Hay. Charles Hay has a playground that is open to residents to utilize in non-school hours. So we're not proposing putting in a large playground at Bard Park, but improving ADA access throughout the park, putting in pathways. The bridge that's there is not ADA compliant at all. I mean, it gets the kids to the school, but that needs to be replaced. And then also propose to put a nature play area in this park. So something that's smaller that maybe kids that aren't in school yet can still play on or be at. And that renovation is just under $700,000 for that. Centennial Park, this is a new project that came up late last year, so part of us is glad that the bond got postponed because this is starting to become a little bit more reality. With a $2.25 million bike park, it would be a destination park for the Front Range, if not for the state of Colorado. We hear a lot that like Ruby Hill Bike Park is closed during the snowy months, rainy months. So our proposal is to actually add an asphalt type bike park in here that could be open year round. And Centennial Park is a busy park, but not as busy as it could be. And bringing a bike park into this park would be really beneficial. It's right off the Mary Carter Greenway Trail. So if you're riding to work and want to have a little fun before you get to work, you can jump on the bike park and do some jumps and then ride away. But the spot that we're proposing is just dirt. It's been a place we've just dumped dirt for years from projects, and so it's the perfect location. It's not really conducive to put like a playground by because there's some water back behind on that north side, but it makes sense for a bike park to go in there. So that's something we're working on right now, getting some designs ready so we can show those during public meetings. Clarkson Amherst Park, it's kind of a passive park. There's not a lot there. So what we're proposing for this park is a community garden, another nature play area, as well as pathways through there. There's a small pump track that's been proposed. And do you know what a pump track is? Are you familiar with those? You can get on a bike, and as you use your body, your momentum to go, so you don't really have to pedal. You can just literally pump around the track. So it's really popular with little kid scooters and little bikes. Big kids can play on it too. It won't be as exciting as our bike park, but something more to activate this park for the neighborhood. Yeah.
So anywhere you see like the light orange is where it's going to be native. So a lot of these plants, we're trying to turn a lot of turf that we currently irrigate into more native areas.
And these are passive areas, so it's not like where you go have your picnic. There's going to still be turf in all of these parks, but it's a big push in Colorado to have reduction of turf for water savings and sustainability over time.
Well, the native areas still have irrigation that can be turned on occasion.
To get them established, and then as needed after that.
The next one's Emerson Park. So just under $1 million for Emerson. This would be adding a new playground in the smaller section across the street from the main park there, putting a pathway connecting both parks. So granted, there'll be a street crossing there, but it is neighborhood, so it's less traffic. Putting a pavilion in this park, so it doesn't have that currently, and making that attractive for neighborhood gatherings and parties and such. So this would just, the playground I think will be huge for this neighborhood because they really don't have a playground as of yet, and a lot of kids in that area. So Miller Field's a huge transformation. It's decommissioning one of the softball fields there and making it into, I'll show you the better pictures, a splash pad area that could be activated in the summer months, a pavilion, you could have concerts in that or rentals, pathways through the park, more trees, more landscaping, more of a destination for the community. Like I said, right now, it's just a nice little off-leash area that's not, you can't take your dogs there, but people do. And it's used for sports, usually in the evening and weekend hours. The splash pad is proposed where the current parking lot is. And so all parking would go to on-street parking, and it actually adds a lot of spots around this park. And it's also a walkable park for a lot of the community that lives right around it. And right across the street from this park is the police station.
Is there a possibility, I don't know how well that fits in with the city strategic plan, but is there a possibility to have like more events with the pavilion, such as like the Sunset Concert Series, as opposed to
Definitely.
having them here? Like,
Yeah, that's
is
the
that what
goal,
you're-
is to
okay.
have another opportunity to move some of our other events, whether it be movie nights or kids stage or sunset concerts. This park would be, you could do that at very easily. So here's another angle. This is looking northwest across the park towards the splash pads. We'll still keep fields there. Our park system does not have a lot of soccer fields or lacrosse fields or softball or baseball. And so keeping as many as we can, because those are revenue generators for us within the system, is important. And then the Northwest Greenbelt, so just a reminder, this is one of our off-leash areas in the system. But this one's really looking at reducing a lot of the turf that's in this park. And adding some new pathways, picnic shelter, picnic tables into the Northwest Greenbelt. It gets used fairly often. I think when we had to close down Jason Park to do some restoration there, a lot of people started using Northwest Greenbelt. So doing some improvements up there will be important. So here's a little overview of the play area. Really, it's just a playground there. There's no picnic areas for parents to hang out at while their kids are playing. And then also adding a bathroom at this park. It'll be right off the pathway, so whether you're riding your bike through the city and end up going that way, you'll have a restroom in that neighborhood. Or playing with your kids. Heard that from a lot of parents.
Yes.
Potties are important. Rotolo Park, adding a new walkway that connects Jason Street all the way through the park and around. No pathway exists today, and we get a lot of requests from the neighbors for something like that. Adding a restroom also in this park, and reducing some of the turf. We were out there with our design consultants for this master plan update, and we were watching our park staff mow, and he's literally like at this angle mowing the park, so that piece would be turned into native.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm like, wow, this is a good workout, just one side. Yeah, keep changing directions. And then the detention basin will remain. That is a flood zone, so that does take a lot of water during the heavy rain months. So that'll remain the same. That is also used for a sports field as well, when not flooded.
When not flooded.
Yes. And then Rotolo connects with the Southwest Greenbelt, so improving the pathways through there, potentially adding a picnic shelter as well as play features on the east end as you get towards the end of that park, as well as changing some of the turf into native areas on the north side of the area of the park there. Bellevue is a big one. So some of the improvements, and we'll talk about farm and train as well, but renovate some of the plantings up at the tennis courts, their old shrubbery up there, and restoring some of that. Getting new ball field lighting. The lights that we have there are pretty old, and there's better lighting systems out there. They're much more efficient, that don't have as much spillage of light into the neighborhood, which we get complaints about on occasion, just the lights are in the homes. And then also we'll talk about the farm in a second here, but ADA compliant access to the ball fields. In fact, when we did one of the neighborhood nights out there, that was the question of, can you put a walkway from the sidewalk up top on the neighborhood all the way down to the ball field? It's something that doesn't exist. It's just a hillside you have to go down. So giving access into the park. And on the west end of the park, we have pathways that have stairs that are just deteriorating quickly. They're old, falling apart. Those need to be replaced to make it better accessible and safer for our residents.
Another thing here at Bellevue, we'll have ADA access to the river,
Yes.
which we don't currently have.
So farm and train is going to change some. So the barn facility at the farm is definitely aged out. It works, but there's a lot more we can do with it. Staff was dreaming big and said it'd be nice to have like a meeting room there so they could do classes for kids in the summer months or in the off season or even during the season. We could have commission meetings there. You could rent it for parties or whatever it may be. Also having a gift shop. We get a lot of questions. Can I buy your shirt? It's this, Farm and Train shirt for our staff, and they want to purchase items from there. And it is a tourist destination. We do track zip codes, and we find people come from all over the country, not only to Pirates Cove, but down to the Farm and Train. I learned today Adele was there.
Yeah, a couple years ago.
Yeah, so Adele has a
4 years
visitor.
ago. And she got in trouble for picking up the chickens.
Oh, great. Pick up what?
Chickens.
She was picking up the chickens. You're
Not supposed to pick up the
touch
ends,
that,
so
right?
that's funny. So something that's been a huge request, not only from the staff that work down here, but also from parents with small children, is we need closer restrooms. The restrooms are far away from where the farm is or the train. And so this new concept will put a restroom right next to the farm. Through here. So there's the farm. I don't know if we'll reposition it as such, but they changed the orientation of the farm to be facing west instead of towards the parking lot. To help probably with lines. It gets a little congested there with the train line coming out. If there's a farm line, they sometimes get away. But so this would reorient the farm building, make it a little bit bigger, more storage, meeting rooms. But there's the restrooms. Oh no. It's fading. Well, you can kind of see it.
It's not Northwest.
No. No, it's not. This is still the farm. But those are the restrooms next to a brand new shelter. So if you've been to Holiday Express, it's where our craft tent was set up. I know you were there. I'm in others, but that'd be a huge benefit to just upgrade this whole section of Bellevue Park. From a revenue standpoint, it gives us more opportunity to bring in funding, and then just the accessibility of new features would be huge. I know. So this one is Cushing Park. I don't know what's happening here, but Cushing Park. We originally proposed part of the bond was adding in off-leash area, and it was something that council actually approved through the original master plan. But when we were doing the off-leash task force and came with final results to that, it was decided not to move forward with the off-leash area. However, we have this passive space on the west end of the park that really won't be used for much because it's right off the trail. And so making it an off-leash park, we'll put some lighting in there, solar lighting, trash cans, dog bag dispensers, and put some wood chips in there. It was proposed to be only a small dog area, and that's something we can still consider, and that's something the commission can give recommendations on as we get closer to actually implementing the project if we do. And it would also be fully fenced because it's right off of Dartmouth, which is fairly busy. And then the second piece of this, we have a 20-plus-year-old playground at Cushing Park. It's aged out. I don't know, I'm not a kid, but it doesn't look fun. And updating that playground as well. So that would be the two projects for Cushing Park, just under $600,000 for those. All right, so the Englewood Recreation Center. Last year we proposed putting a Ninja Fit course in the pool area that would drop down from the ceiling and activate some of the pool opportunities for exercise classes or teens to use or kids to climb on. But in talking to other recreation centers that implemented that Ninja type system, they said it was used in the beginning because it was kind of the new thing, and it's not being used as much. And so it's up on the ceiling and it's not used. And it's kind of expensive to do something like that. So we've redirected our focus to still recommend putting a surf simulator in there near the aquatics area. So it's small, but on that left picture, you can see that black box right off the parking lot. That's where it's proposed to go. So part of the building would be knocked out, that would be built in, and so it'd be right off our pool area. So parents could watch their kids on the surf simulator. It'd be an attraction. If you didn't want to actually do it or get in the pool, you could sit there and watch people try to surf. And then we've also added, so behind the recreation center is a parking lot and trash cans and access to the back end of the rec center. But we have sand volleyball courts there now. We're proposing putting in pickleball courts, taking out sand and putting in pickleball. The benefit to the location is it's away from homes. It's next to Meadow Gold. Nobody's going to complain about the noise, which has been a big to-do recently of pickleball noise in neighborhoods. Bates Logan had one proposed, but some of our commission members said, what about bocce courts? And some of the residents said, what about that? A bit quieter, I don't think the neighbors will mind bocce courts versus pickleball, but this would add probably 2 to 3 new pickleball courts into our system. And then the rec center would have control over that too. So you'd have to go through the center to access the courts in the back. We would fence that spot off so it wouldn't be accessible all day, every day.
I was very curious about when we're gonna hear the P word.
Here it is.
It is.
I think that's really smart and giving, that also gives more information about the usage of the courts, brings traffic into the rec center, hopefully some dollars to the rec center. So I think that's a great.
It's kind of like members only kind of thing.
Yes.
And that's something we'll figure out as we go. If you pay $5, you can go use the courts even if you don't have a membership to the center. Or if you do, it's free to go use them, sort of thing. So they can be rented, tournaments could be there, a lot of different opportunities. We just did a recreation survey, which we'll be sharing with you in future meetings. But the locker rooms, I think staff have said it. We've all noticed if you've been into the locker rooms, they are dated, they are old, they are not attractive. And so part of this would include updating those locker rooms to be more modern looking and cleaner feeling and fresh. And then also looking at improving accessibility for the second floor access. Right now we have a very old lift that will get people up to the second floor. It takes how long?
I don't know. It's probably, I got here at what time? It's probably still
It's
moving
still
up to the
moving
second
somebody.
floor. Slowly.
It's,
just
I mean,
slow. You have to activate it with a person. So they have to yell down or push the button, the buzzer to go up and down, but in an emergency or something like that.
Yeah. So looking at either updating the lift to be a little bit more accessible and faster, or an elevator. And elevators we know are very expensive. So we're just putting that on here now, knowing that's a need that center needs to have. And then we also don't have any restrooms on the second floor. So looking to add just one family restroom to the second floor area. So if you're running on the track, working out, you're in a class, you can just run out quick, use the restroom to get back to whatever you were doing. Pirates Cove, giving some updates to that. So implementing on the east side of the park, new slide system, which is that middle picture there. It's something you would use like an inner tube for, and we'd be reducing the pool that exists, or actually getting rid of it. It leaks, it's 20 years old. So we've had to deal with a lot of leaks in that pool. It holds a lot of water, so evaporation rate's pretty high. And this would reduce the size of the amount of water needed for that area with these slides going in. We'd also put in more of a play type pool or a lounge pool. You could do basketball, volleyball, or just hang out. If you ever look at Google Earth images of we call it the comp pool, the competitive pool, everybody's just on the west end of the pool. Because the other side has a diving board and it's deeper, so people can't stand, you have to tread water. So we're finding the trend is like more of a play pool where you can stand and hang out with your friends or family and enjoy being cooled off by the water. And then the other element we're looking to add is a mat racer on the north side of the park that would be a 4-lane mat racer, and it'd just be a brand new attraction. So keeping that park relevant and exciting for people that come annually or new visitors as well. And then also adding some pavilions in there too for rentals. One thing that the park is adding this next year is, what do you call them? Not cabanas.
Yeah.
They're just little units that go over like 2 lounge chairs. Bungalows?
Yeah, kind of like a
It's a
We find them
bungalow.
on beaches.
Yeah.
I think of
Bungalows. So they're trying kind of new elements to provide where you can rent it for the day for like $40, and you and whoever's with you could be on those too. So they're always looking for ways to bring in additional revenue and make the park more comfortable for visitors. So this is the overall breakdown. Originally it was a $50 million ask, but in finagling some of the funding, it'll be fine-tuned even further once you get into construction drawings and go out for bids and things. But 42 million, almost 43 million is the new ask, with 25 going to parks, 9 going both to the Pirates Cove and the Englewood Recreation Center. So again, we'll be going to council probably in February or early March, just to ensure that that's still the direction we want to go. If it is, then we start doing a lot more public outreach. We were doing that last year pretty heavily with neighborhood nights and events and public meetings and such, and then it was put on hold. So we'll pick all that back up and If we do go forward with this, it's something the commission will need your help in talking to friends and family who live here in Englewood and helping to promote what we're doing with the bond. And Duane knows best on how to get a mill levy passed, so we'll need your.
Tina's pretty good at that
And
too.
Tina do.
Yes.
We'll need your expertise and just assistance with all of it. So does anybody have any questions, comments?
I do have a quick question. So with the enhancements to attract teens, what would those be?
So like the surf simulator at the recreation center
Okay.
would be a big one. Pirates Cove is another.
Like it's a
Possibly.
race element with the slide instead of just a slide. You know, you have to race somebody, that's
Okay.
appealing to children, yeah, for sure.
Okay, yeah, makes sense. Thank you.
I have a question as well. You mentioned the public engagement. I think this might have occurred before I joined the group, but was there a big community-wide survey, or was that in the works, or?
We did it, so we worked with a company called Magellan, and they're the experts in bonds. And will the bond pass or not? So they did a survey for us, and that's something we can bring to another meeting, probably in February, and show you those survey results to get an idea. They said we had a good chance of passing the bond based off of that survey last year, but it wasn't as good as they wanted it to be. And when we called and said, I think we're putting this on hold, they said, well, next year would be the better year to do it because you have bigger voter turnout for presidential elections, which you get a more of a voter base that is maybe not as active in the community, but likes Parks and Rec and will hopefully vote yes on that. So yeah, we can share those results with you as well, just so you can see what came back from that survey. Okay. Thanks.
Thank you.
Can I ask one question? Was there anything you had to get down to that estimated 42? Was there anything significant you had to cut out of the plan from last year?
We just kind of tweaked some of the numbers, looking at bids that are coming in for current park renovations and getting a little bit more realistic. We went a little higher last year because of the unknown. Up to that point, a lot of bids were coming in way over what we were expected, like the engineer's estimate. So it was making us nervous that, oh my gosh, we're going to go out for this bond and we're promising all these projects. And when we go to implement them, we're not going to be able to afford everything we wanted to do. And so we raised, I think it was like 46. So we went to 50 just to ensure we had that. And we've learned there's investment opportunity with the bond. So you can make more money on it. So if 42 goes, we might actually be able to invest and get 46 out of it.
Right.
Which could either make sure we complete these projects or add some projects in that may come up along the way. If the bond does pass, we have 3 years to spend 85% of the funds. So we'll be very busy, but it's going to be very exciting. So
Hold on.
we're very optimistic.
That's going on. Yay.
Yeah, we could finish their part first. So, yeah, thank you guys.
Sorry, one more question. So you mentioned like an initiative to kind of reduce maintenance, and then it kind of relates to like sustainability. And I know is it new or the sustainability board? Is there any like, I guess, are they also, yeah.
Yeah, so one of the big pushes, and you said on some of those meetings, but like the native, going from turf to native has been a huge push.
We did present this to the Sustainability Commission, and they were very excited, and they were behind our turf reduction, so they're on board as well.
It was kind of cool. We got all these plans back, and then we got a request from the commission to go through our whole park system and reduce turf. And we said, cool, we just did it. We just have to implement it now.
Help us get this back.
And honestly, if the bond doesn't pass, so Adrian's doing a really good job of, we'll probably go construction ready on most of these. We'll get the plans done on the smaller parks, because those are the parks we can go out for grants. So Arapahoe County Open Space, Bates Logan this year, we got $600,000 for the new playground and improvements there. And so we're strategizing the what ifs. If the bond isn't chosen to move forward with, what can we still do to continue to make these improvements? The rec center in Pirates Cove are very difficult, and Bellevue Park, potentially Miller Field, because those are the big projects we may not be able to move forward with for some time. Unless we get a bond. So we're kind of playing with all the what if opportunities to make sure we're prepared for what comes next.
I noticed that one of the parks is going to be a new community garden added. Is that from residents asking for more community gardens?
Uh-huh.
Good.
Yeah, Debbie runs our community garden currently.
We do always have a wait list. You know, people, we always have more interest than we do plots, so, yeah. I've
Where
been
else do
kind
we have
of,
gardens?
we do
At the
not.
depot.
Oh, okay, just the depot.
Well,
We
yeah.
have Baker Park is an informal community garden. They plant flowers and things there.
Okay,
And that community, that neighborhood kind of runs that themselves.
okay.
And like for Clarkson and Amherst, it'd be something similar. It may be something the city takes over, and it might be somebody, there's a neighborhood leader, or somebody that wants to take on the organization of what that community garden becomes.
I think we would have enough interest in the city or.
It's our city manager's goal too, to add more community gardens into our park system, just from a sustainability, food sustainability and giving access to all.
Yeah, well, I know the depot does a great job of donating to Cafe 180 and, you know, other local food banks, so that's an amazing initiative. Okay, anybody else? You wanna keep on rolling down the agenda?
Yeah, let's see what's next. Oh, the trust fund. Karen is also not on that now. Quitter. But they have to be 55 plus, correct?
Correct. Yeah, so
That
we
was
are.
the only
at-
reason I got
Yeah.
it railroaded,
Hopefully active.
because I was over 55.
So,
We'll wait and
See
see
who our new
who our
commission-
new members are. And
Okay.
then, not then something will have.
Do you wanna
to
keep
have a
volunteering?
discussion.
she's like, no, I do not.
Here's the.
You have to keep learning how to say no too. No, I will not keep working. No, I'm
Oh,
not.
okay, no, I will not. Yeah,
There you go.
I have not worked since Christmas Eve.
Maybe not.
Oh,
That's good. It's a good start.
It's a good start.
So we'll keep this on the agenda for once we have new commission members to see if anybody fits that criteria. Keep that in mind when you're interviewing 55 plus. Don't discriminate.
Okay, well, we can move on to old business. Over to Adrian. Want to give an update on the Parks project?
Yes, so Katie's gonna bring up my fancy PowerPoint. I mainly just wanted to show cool pictures, so.
I love it.
This is I'll update all phases, but this is mainly the phase 2. We did receive proposals Tuesday afternoon, so I spent a ton of the day going through proposals, and, you know, we have a committee and we're evaluating them, and we'll go, once we make a decision, we'll go to council, award a contract, and, you know, we're hoping to break ground on this project this spring, so something that we're very, very excited about. Let's go ahead then. So this is kind of the background on the funding. We did get awarded, like Christina said, a $600,000 grant from Arapahoe County. We were able to match with $747,000 through our Arapahoe County Open Space Shareback funds and the Conservation Trust funds. So total estimated cost of the project is $1.3 million. Proposals are coming in pretty close, so we're very excited about that. I already said that stuff, so go ahead. So this is, if you guys haven't been there, this is the current conditions of Bates Logan Park, so a huge upgrade.
Beautiful.
Go ahead, Deb.
Well, the new
Absolutely beautiful.
So we got some new 3D renderings. So one thing that, you know, we really want to do is have play for everybody. So this will have a lot of features that are accessible to anybody and everybody, use different sensories and all kinds of stuff. So we also wanted to incorporate the hillside and take that to our advantage. So this picture isn't great. There's some better pictures when we get to those that use the hillside for a slide and a climbing rope and stuff like that. So it's going to be very unique and uniquely Englewood, which I just love. So
Will this be the first park of its kind in Englewood?
yes.
Yeah, okay.
So this is more of a top view. You can see we're going to have some accessible swings as well. That'll be off to the side. You can see the two pieces there. Christina and I, it's been a little while. Last summer, maybe went around and tried a bunch of parks.
We want to make sure they
out.
worked.
So
We
we
had a
went
plan.
We went to.
Part of the job.
Yeah, we went to Castle Rock and we went down slides and climbed things and we had a great time. So, some of these pieces that are from other places that throughout the metro area.
And the company that designed this is Landscape Structures, and they actually worked with Dr. Temple Grannon on some of these for kids that have autism. And so like the middle piece there, it has little bars that go across. Those are actually rollers. And so she gave feedback on that sensory piece. So you can pull yourself through that as a kid, or you can lay there and just look at the sky. And so she worked very hard with them to come up with some new play elements that kids of all kinds can really enjoy, and you get that play and the feeling of flow. I guess you get that concept of flow where all things merge together and you're enjoying what you're doing. So
you can't really see it here, but we're also going to have some stuff in the concrete where you're in a chair, you get different sensations and stuff as you go over different, not necessarily
Textures.
obstacles, but textures and things like that. So we'll have, let me go to the next one then. So that this one doesn't really show it, but we'll have, boulders and a walkway down to this area and some informal seating and stuff at the bottom. But this shows you the, the slide going down the hill and the climbing ladder and the rope thing and the rope pull. So something we're super excited about. So.
and that's the play board with or turf.
That section there is synthetic turf. So that'll be synthetic turf on the hillside. Anything up to the accessible pieces will be poured and play. And then some of the other stuff is the engineered wood fiber. All right, so update on phase 1. We're almost done. Just a few more small things that will be done with that project. So got a awesome new pavilion, a new restroom. As if you guys been to Bates Logan, they're very aged. So this project has gone very well, and we're looking to open it this spring. So very excited about phase 1, and we should wrap up hopefully by the end of the month.
And each of those tables is ADA accessible.
This is phase 3. So phase 3, this probably next month, we're going to go to have a community meeting and talk about phase 3. These are some of our ideas, or this was from the first community meeting that was several years ago. We want to do, this is another pump track. It'll be a small pump track off to kind of where the current playground is. That will be, for younger kids to use. And then we also want to do a bike park that'll kind of wrap around where the current playground is and through some of those trees and then kind of towards the parking lot and back. So, this is another opportunity where we can reduce a lot of turf in that park, irrigated turf, and do more native and use the space better. Bocce ball was another request that we've continued to get, and there isn't many around in our area. So we're hoping to put bocce ball courts. They would be right off the parking lot. And then we'll have some added pathways through the park and more ADA accessible through the park. So phase 3 is coming. Well, I'll apply for the grant this spring. My ask of you guys would be, I'll reach out to some of you for support letters for the phase 3 grant. So I'll go to council this spring. We'll apply for it in April, and then it gets awarded usually the end of July, beginning of August. Then that would hopefully complete the majority of this park. Miss anything? Any questions? Thank you.
Okay, well, we can move on to staff's choice. Anything else to share?
I have a little bit of information to share if I can, if I may. Wanted to highlight a really good 2023 with the recreation centers. The recreation center saw approximately 222,000 visitors are just people coming through the doors. So that's almost 36,000 more people from 2022. So that's a 17% increase. Malley, same thing. We had almost 10,000 people more into the center. So for about a 12% increase. So there was 80,000 people. So I think at the height, maybe 7 years ago, there was probably about 110,000, but we also had a lot more kind of events that were coming in and some rentals and things that we don't have anymore that we replaced with some programming. So, but we're doing a really good job of getting people into our center. So we're seeing that increase again over the last couple of years coming out of COVID. So very excited. We had a pretty robust, a very robust social media and marketing and promotion campaign last year that we're pretty strategic about things, and we responded from our 2022 surveys, and then we also did a slew of 2023 surveys about what people would like to see. Also at the start of 2022, we as the council approved within the budget process a new position for kind of a youth supervisor, and so we've been able to add some programming with that when we're seeing some of that come about right now. So we're excited about that and moving forward with that. So they've got kind of 2 years under their belt, and we've got some new and exciting programs we're doing, like an escape room class and some game kind of things at the Recreation Center. We'll be doing some coordination with the library on some programming, and just looking forward to a lot of that, focusing on the youth and things like that. So very excited. The Englewood Recreation Center is undergoing part of the renovation project that's been over the last few years. But we were kind of stalled with a boiler project, and that actually the final approvals for that came through last week through the state. And then we were wanting to make sure that the city approved them as well. So the state came in and checked everything out. They just need to hook up the controls, which I understand could be that tomorrow or the beginning of next week, and then they'll flip a switch and we'll see how the boiler works. So that should help those common areas. That was it kind of stalled the rest of the project, which is the front lobby renovation. And then where the admin offices were is going to become kind of a aquatics teaching office area. So we're really excited about getting that going. They came yesterday and cut the fabric or the plastic to block it off. So he was in the gym cutting out the big pieces to try and block that off. So we're hoping that that'll happen next week. But some electrical things got done this week. Just kind of getting ready for that. We're pretty excited about moving forward. So we'll do the front lobby registration area first, and then we'll move into that, and then we'll flip back over to the aquatics area to get that done. And then the front bathrooms are part of this project as well. We've decided to kind of tone it down a little bit, and it's going to be just kind of a facelift for those because we don't want to lose a stall. We want to make sure that we have enough units in the facility to cover that. So we're just going to leave them as is, but make them a little bit nicer. Again, they're very old tile and things like that. And we want to work on some of the doors and things like that. So I'm pretty excited about that. There is a trust fund meeting February 5th. Just I don't know if there's some new people here today. The trust fund meets 4 times a year. Yes, 4 times a year. I'm trying to think how many times. Those meetings are on Mondays at 2 o'clock at the Malley Recreation Center. We're hoping to get someone to help with that. We are moving full force with event sponsorships. I got some good news today about some sponsorships. So that program is going very well, and that sponsorship packet is online now. It was just put on this week, so you can see that online for the events. So we're really excited about that.
I will add on that, There are some events that are low dollar. So if you have friends that have businesses or you yourself want to just donate, like the library's having an authors event, and like the lowest sponsorship's $100. So if you're looking for something to donate to, there's opportunities with that are small dollar, but then we have also big dollar opportunities.
Absolutely, or trade with businesses with the product and things like that. So yeah, good point. And then it's January, so we've got people knocking at the door trying to get fields and things like that through the spring season. So we're getting ready to program all of that in the next couple months. But we've got a lot of new athletic programs that are going that hadn't gone in a couple of years. We've got a men's basketball league that's kind of back with 12 teams with a waiting list. So that's exciting because it hadn't gone in the wintertime for a couple of years. So things are looking up. So thank you for all your support with everything. Any questions? Thank you.
Well, do you want to go? Or do you get?
No, I'm good.
Okay. Well, since this is Karen's last meeting, I want to say thank you for your dedication and commitment to the Parks and Rec Commission and the community as a whole.
And the dogs.
And the dogs.
And the dogs.
So we have a card for you. There's no money in it, sorry. And then Mark also has been on the commission, Mark husband, who's not here this evening. So I do want to recognize him too, because he's been on the commission a long time as well. And all your support and just feedback on all our projects and what we're working on has been invaluable. So thank you, and we wish you the best.
It's been my pleasure.
We'll miss you. Come see us.
We can move on to Commissioner's Choice. You guys want to chat through?
I just have like one small question. Is the full schedule for the year for our meetings on like the website for the public, or?
Actually, I do have one that I will send out. We do have locations down and all that. There's a chance some of them may be moved and all that. So all I can say is really just still check your agenda.
Okay.
You know, make sure that because of weather or anything like that.
We'll always be the second Thursday, so.
Yeah.
But yeah, the locations may move around so we can get out to the parks and see the facilities and all of that.
Yeah. I was just-
February, we will be back in this room.
I guess does the public have access to that as well, or?
Yeah, so as soon as the agendas are published, when you guys receive those, it also publishes them on the city's website. So they do see the packet, and even like presentations, PowerPoint presentations and all that, those are all uploaded into the agenda.
And the one I gave this evening is not, because it's still in draft. It was just a reminder for you all. We'll get that finished, and then that'll be published as one of the future meetings as well.
Well, I would like to thank you guys for putting up with me for 20 years. Take one and pass the bag.
You did this when you got off the school board.
I know.
You brought the rest of us,
I know.
she brought the rest of us cupcakes the night she got off the school board.
What
Remember
can I
that?
say?
I know,
Yes.
yeah.
Will you be available to make cupcakes?
Huh?
If we make requests for cupcakes, like, can we call you and?
Oh,
orders in?
absolutely. Absolutely.
She's always the best.
I have truly enjoyed, except for some of the dog stuff. Good luck. It never goes away. Yeah, yes.
But I was gonna say, I remember when I was on this commission, like 2011 through 2013, the dogs, the leash, that was a central talking point then, and I think it's still.
Oh, it still is.
I'm
trust
sure
me.
you're already hearing some of those things too.
Yeah.
You just, since you've been, in council.
But I obviously have gotten to know a lot of very nice people that work for the city. And it has been, and I know I can't serve as the president anymore of Malley, but if you do need somebody still to serve on the Malley board that's not on the foundation, I'm not on this one, I would gladly serve.
It's being recorded. We're all looking at.
Well, I was just getting the feel of
I know, you were just starting.
it, and then it's
One
done,
meeting.
so.
It's not a heavy
And
lift.
if I totally stop being a nurse, I'm going to have to fill my time somehow. But thank you. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you, Karen.
No more commitment time, but I did want to ask for a quick key learnings from the December events, the Bazaar and Holiday Express. I know you guys mentioned that you increased the tickets for the Express and still sold out very quickly. And so also the Bazaar was amazing and seeing all those small vendors there. And So just wondering, what your takeaway was from those.
We have a survey right now for
Okay.
the Holiday Express that's online. But a lot of good feedback, and we did kind of recognize that we could expand a little bit more. I know Parks is heavily involved in some of the big things with setting it all up and being out there with the weather and everything. But for the most part, we got a lot of good feedback, a lot of positive comments. One of the things that I heard was the lighting of the parking lot a little bit better, just to feel a little bit safer up in that area up there. And I think we did actually a pretty good job up there. But there was a few comments when I was front. It was the anecdotal kind of thing. For the bazaar, we might have some different plans for that, but we got a lot of good feedback. We had about the same amount of visitors to it as we had the year before, which is good. It's it's almost 1,500 people, 2,000 people, so that's a lot of people coming through there. We had more vendors than we've had, and a lot of the different kinds this year. So we learned a lot. This is kind of the second year for Tony Arnaldi, who's doing that now. It had always been kind of a Malley event under that, and we wanted to move it into the event. So we're kind of taking some of those elements into next year with the sponsorships and some things like that. But that's my take on it. But I know you have Holiday Express.
What was your take on it?
I loved it. It was great. Yeah.
You look like you're having a good time.
Yes, we had a little meltdown at the end.
Oh, okay.
We were waiting for the trains. We didn't do the train.
Yeah.
But the s'mores were really fun, and just the music, having the live music there, just
Yeah.
pleasantly surprised to see that. We had the babies bumping to that, and it was a good, I think, cadence of people coming in when we were there, which might have been like 6 o'clock. You could tell it was getting
Heaviest time.
busier, but it didn't feel too crowded, no elbowing, and still decent lines for the restrooms and to see Santa and all of that.
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah, it was a great dress experience.
Yeah, it's one of our favorites.
Yeah.
No issues with the train. That was great.
Good. Good.
And you officially have a new train coming.
Yes.
So we're very excited about that. Talk
Should
about
arrive
sustainability.
hopefully in May if all
Yeah.
goes perfectly well, so, yeah, it should be ready for
Pretty
the
quick
summer
transition.
season.
Knock on wood.
Yeah,
Yeah, a lot of knocking on wood.
yeah, that's been a long time coming.
And we're sure it's going to fit on the tracks? No, just kidding.
Oh,
Pretty sure.
We're
We're about 80% sure, but
Figured out.
Well, they built the train we have now, so the new
Yes.
train should fit on
You
the
know,
track.
railroad gauges change over time, right, Adrian?
A little bit.
He's already sweating about the year ahead.
I know, sounds
Starts more.
Yeah.
Okay, anything else? All right, well, if there's no other business, the meeting is adjourned at 6:33 PM.